So Jeff Bezos has given the biggest hint yet that he'll start accepting Dogecoin very soon. Before we talk about it, let's talk about the crypto market's performance this week. So in terms of performance, the aggregate market cap of all cryptos dropped 6% over the past 7 days. Also, some mid-cap altcoins lost around 19% or more in the same time frame. In the last 7 days, Bitcoin's price dropped 6% and ETH declined by 3.5%. Meanwhile, altcoins experienced what can only be described as a bloodbath. But now the market is stabilizing a little bit. This is because right around the time the US government released its statement about the interest rates, Bank of England released a totally opposite statement. So the bank hiked interest rates and warned the public about an economic downturn. That triggered fears of stagflation among investors. And I'm assuming that that's what led people to come to crypto as a safe haven. Altcoins, including Dogecoin, were also relatively stable on Friday. Moving on to Elon Musk, according to a May 4 Schedule 13D filing with the SEC, 18 firms have agreed to fund Elon's acquisition of Twitter with a $7.139 billion investment boost. Among the list of investors, Binance invested $500 million, Sequoia Capital invested $800 million, and Fidelity put in more than $300 million. This is good for Doge and Elon as it puts off some of the pressure from Elon's shoulders so he can focus on other important things like taking Doge to the moon. Now let's move on to the big news from today. So the big news is that Jeff Bezos has started following Doge co-founder Billy Markus on Twitter. And I'll tell you why it's a big deal in a minute, but let's first talk about some history between cryptos and Amazon. So right now, Amazon does not accept cryptos, but it has been dropping several hints about something big coming on the way for months. So in April, the present Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said that the company may potentially begin selling NFT and that cryptos are in for a big future. Now this move from Jeff Bezos means a lot for a number of reasons. The first one is that Billy Markus posts a lot about Dogecoin every single day. Just yesterday, he posted this tweet that talked about Dogecoin's utilities. The tweet said that the simplest and best use case for Dogecoin is tipping, which means spreading happiness over the internet. And so now Jeff Bezos will actually be able to see the numerous benefits of Dogecoin and would finally talk to the CEO about accepting Doge and other cryptos. And if it happens, Dogecoin will jump to $1 in no time at all. Amazon sees billions of dollars of sales every single month. So if it starts accepting it, everyone will go to the moon with Doge. Now let's move on to another billionaire investor who had something very interesting to say about Bitcoin. I'm talking about Ray Dalio here. So according to him, Bitcoin is a great hedge against inflation, but it is not a good competitor against gold. He said that Bitcoin's finite supply makes it similar to other universally accepted inflation hedges such as gold. However, he doesn't see central banks adopting Bitcoin as a reserve asset due to several issues such as privacy and ban in some countries. Transactions can be traced, so privacy is an issue. They can be controlled, they can be shut down, they can be made illegal, which tends to happen during times when they may be threats to the alternative currency. So he doesn't think they'll be held as central bank reserves for various reasons, he said. He also argued that Bitcoin's total market value is less than that of Microsoft, which makes it less desirable for storing wealth compared to gold. But still, he's very optimistic about Bitcoin and where it's headed in the next decade. Moving on, let's talk about some bad news that could lead to another downfall in the crypto market. So the Spanish Securities Regulator has ordered Binance to stop offering crypto derivative products to customers in the country. According to local media, the crypto exchange giant has followed the orders of the regulator, withdrawing these products from its customers in Spain. Also, U.S. Senator Liz Warren directly wrote to Fidelity, asking why the investment company included Bitcoin on the 401k menu. The letter cited concerns that included crypto volatility and speculation. She used the example of Elon Musk's tweets influencing Bitcoin's price fluctuation. And the other concern was the difficulty in evaluating cryptos, even for experts. The senator then framed crypto investing as akin to gambling. While I agree with the volatility part, I think this is really sad that highly educated U.S. senators are totally ignoring the many benefits of Bitcoin. Another bad news came from the Central African Republic, which is under scrutiny from financial analysts, entrepreneurs, and the International Monetary Fund. It is drawing unfavorable comparisons with El Salvador's Bitcoin project. Basically, the country's National Assembly unanimously voted on a bill legalizing crypto, offered a regulatory framework, and made Bitcoin legal tender earlier this year, hoping that cryptocurrencies and related digitization could boost an ailing $2.3 billion economy. But the IMF is worried because data from the World Bank suggests that only 10% of the population has internet access, while some people haven't even heard of cryptos. I still feel that this African country can figure out the internet problem very soon. Also, they can trade Bitcoin with a slow internet connection too, so it might not be as problematic as they're making it sound. Moving on, another bad news came from Argentina. So Argentina's central bank released a statement on Thursday saying that the country's financial sector is not allowed to provide services related to digital assets that are not regulated. This effectively bans any crypto transactions within the official economy. And they're doing this so that the International Monetary Fund grants it a loan of $45 billion. The agreement requires the country to discourage the use of cryptocurrencies in order to protect its financial sector. I think it's truly a shame because according to a new survey, almost 3 out of 4 citizens in Argentina would purchase cryptocurrency to invest or as a way of preserving buying power. So I think it's a big loss for Bitcoin's potential growth. Still, we can expect a lot of money coming in from Dubai and Middle East. So, multiple international crypto exchanges have obtained commercial licenses and are shifting their main offices to Dubai and the UAE. Dubai's renowned and leading property developer Damac Properties said that virtual assets such as Bitcoin would be accepted for property purchases. And on April 25, Ajam announced that Kraken had been granted a license to operate a regulated virtual asset trading platform in the financial free zone. Bake and More, a coffee and pastry business in Al Quoz, will go down in history as the first cafe in Dubai to accept Bitcoin and Tether payments from its patrons. Cash and credit card payment options are still accepted by the business. So again, this is a really big deal for cryptos. Now coming back to warnings and bad news, Weiss Ratings has issued a warning against mortgage companies offering Bitcoin services, saying they look a lot like the lead-up to a 2008-like financial crisis. Basically, a new crop of companies has sprung up in recent times offering mortgages backed by Bitcoin and Ethereum, with the clients not having to pay any down payment. Now, Weiss focused its attention on Milo, a Florida company that's at the forefront of the Bitcoin-backed mortgages. As per a recent report, the company has a waitlist of 8,000 people who want to buy real estate in New York, California, and Texas. In the past month, it claims to have issued pre-approval letters on $340 million of mortgages. Milo's products include 30-year fixed-rate mortgages secured by digital currency holdings, including Bitcoin and ETH, and lending as much as $10 million on homes. But then there was some really positive news that came from institutions. So there were 244 crypto funding deals in April, and this is the highest ever monthly count. This is great because these companies are choosing to invest in cryptos even when Bitcoin is trading so low. Now let's come back to some crypto analysis and talk about liquidations. So a bullish engulfing candle on May 4 triggered the liquidation of $45.5 million in short positions. But the very next day, an even larger bearish engulfing candle liquidated as much as 165 million long positions. Now there is another interesting indicator that shows well how much today's situation resembles a sideways crab market. It is the so-called futures long liquidations dominance. This indicator measures the percentage of long liquidations in the market. Looking at the chart of this indicator over the last month, we can see that it behaves almost like a perfect oscillator. This means that both sides, the bulls and bears, systematically lose. This is a typical sign of a sideways trend. In short, we're trading sideways, and a lot of people seem to think that we'll continue to trade sideways for some time. So an interesting poll conducted on Twitter found that over 35% of the respondents feel we're in a crab market. Basically, we might have to wait before we see another bull run for Bitcoin and Doge. Now coming back to Doge, its price correlation with Bitcoin has risen to 0.75, and even at this price, more than half of its holders are in profit. I think that we'll trade sideways for at least another week, but eventually we'll see a spike in Doge after an announcement from Elon comes out for it. And we all know that it's inevitable and will happen very soon.